The first step which we need to do is just to look at the system with the name Drools. We go straight to this page, and here we have a system. Name is Drools. Of course, you can read about all the way who have developed it and what kind of it is of the system. I will say that it is just rules engine. The type of the system is rules engine, and this particular system that can do logical inference from knowledge base. In order for you to have a little bit intuitive understanding what's going on in real life when we talk about knowledge base and logical inference, let's do some practical steps. Let's try to install this system, then install various examples and look at these examples, and by this we will have better understanding what is all about these concepts: knowledge base, logical inference. Immediately I recommend to starting point, it is just go straight to the documentation, and let's go straight to the documentation. So we have everything we need. Of course, the whole book, if you have time, you need, if you really want to be you are interested in this type of systems, then you can go through all this documentation. But the shortcut, the way in order to learn this in quick way, it is we go straight to the section examples, and here we download Drools repository in GitHub. Let's do, you must download it this from the GitHub. Let maybe do it, because I have somehow feeling that it will be better if I will show you step by step everything. Once we downloaded these examples, we just open download directory and extract everything from this archive. What's going on? Once you downloaded Drools examples directory, something like this, once you extracted them, you need to install some kind of Java IDE, integrated development environment. For this, I maybe recommend to use Eclipse. You open Eclipse page and download, just follow documentation, download and install your Eclipse project. Once you have done this, you go straight to the Eclipse EDR and use this option, create new project, select Maven project, next, okay, this is okay, select location of your code, and then create this project. I don't want to make that my workplace, so I will show you how it will look finally once you imported this project using this approach from these Drools examples. And here we are. Once you install all these examples using Drools, actually, if you don't understand my remarks, you can follow these basic steps that are described in this documentation. It's very simple. As you can see here, all the steps are written step by step. It must be pretty easy to follow. It's pretty straightforward. So again, examples, importing and executing Drools examples in ADA. I recommend Eclipse, but you can use NetBeans, IntelligentG, or whatever you want. It's up to you. But maybe in order to talk and to see, maybe I can consult if you have some bugs. Let's use Eclipse. And if you follow all the steps that are written here, you will be definitely succeed in installation these examples. And then we can analyze and talk to look at the code, various examples, how we can use this type of systems, logical inference systems, in this particular case, rule engine. The systems that execute rules, and this demonstrates actually these concepts which I try to today for you to explain. We call it inference, special type of artificial intelligence method, inference from knowledge base. So let's talk about this. So once we have opened these examples, we need to understand a little bit what it's all about. There is a lot of examples. Just to try to open few of these examples, look at them, try to debug, try to understand, and it will be that it. For now, here in my explanation, in my demonstrations, I will use this example, which is called banking, in directory banking. Here is 6 examples with increasing complexity. Let's open the first one. So here you can see that we have just very simple code. What is in this code? In order to understand what's going on, we need to understand basic steps, basic things, what is rule engine, so and inference in rule engine. So when we talk about rule engines, or another name, expert system engine, we need to define at least very rough architecture. And we start this definition by just writing two parts of memory in computer memory. And in these two parts, one part we call facts, and the second part we call it rules. Expert systems, just rule engines, are systems that defines knowledge in computer memory, somewhere in computer memory, and knowledge is split in two parts. All the variables of values of my variables I describe in the area which I call fact. So for example, I can write here all my logical variables, not just logicals in this case, because it's practical already implementation of these ideas which I presented in propositional logic. But in his case, I can define any in area of facts. I define various type of variables with known values. For this demonstration, I will use just, for example, some kind of integers. In the rule area, as name of this block implies, I define various rules. In this case, if, then rules. So I define a lot of rules, if, then rules. As example, for example, x, if 1 is 3, then I can write this print x1. Another rule can be something, if x3 equals 0, then, for example, I can call some function send value of x3, or whatever function send implies. The last part of this framework, it is actually the rule engine or expert system engine. I will call just R engine, rule engine. Now, how rule engine works? It reads all the rules in the computer memory, and then it reads all the facts in computer memory, and finally, it takes each rule. There is several sophisticated algorithms how to do it efficiently, but in this case, I will just show the most simple way. Let's say that it just takes the first one, then the second one, and so on. It just creates an iterator through all the rules. Each time it takes one rule, then looks to the if part of this rule, logical expressions, then looks to the facts part of the knowledge base, and tries to establish if the expression in the if part is true. And if it is so, then it executes what is going after the keyword then. So for example, in this case, it looks at, it takes the first rule, looks at is the expression here is true, and it is true because in this case, if x1 is 3, yes, we know in the facts area that we have such knowledge, then it executes what is going here. At the next step, it takes the second rule, looks at the expression, and in if part, and here is written if x3 is 0, and because there is no in facts area nothing that implies this, actually x3 is 4, so it just ignores this rule and goes on and goes on until at infinitum it tries to at least all rules are executed with all facts are checked, and rule engine stops and waits until new facts arrives. And when new facts arrives, it can restart and try to again look at all these rules, and if look at this if part, tries to match it, and then execute if match was found. This is basic architecture. Some remarks how rule engine works. Now let's go to the code. Once we have these remarks, we can look at the code. So here we can see this line implies that I am starting rule engine, and the first parameter I'm just sending the name of the file where my rules are. The second parameter, it is all facts that I have established. So facts and rules. Here rules, here facts. Facts can be, because it's Java programming language, so facts can be any type of variable which I define with somewhere in the Java with the keyword class. Usually we know that in Java, keyword class is used to define types of our objects. So here I can put any objects which values I have established in facts area. And here I can put set of rules, in this case file of rules. Let's look at these rules as most interesting part. All the rules here defined in this subdirectory resources. Here we look, where is my banking resources, I can open, and here we see that in this file I have two rules. The first line in the rule is usually just name of the rule. The second part, it is what we call if expression, and it means the starting keyword. When it means I am starting expression, writing logical expressions which are used in order to match facts and to try to establish is it true. So here it is written if 1 is 1, it means this rule will be executed always because this expression is true always. Then it prints rule number 1 works because it always works, because here is just I'm saying if true is true. Then rule engine takes the second part, and here I will get a little bit more complex. We see empty logical expressions. So here it just prints some rubbish, but I can just delete it. The mark is selected. So let's run these examples. In order to run this example, let's return to our banking example number 1. Just run it as Java application. And we can see that our rule engine took all the rules and executed them.